John Paul Stewart. Star Trek fans remember John Paul Stewart as the very first actor to play Alexander Rozhenko, the son of Worf and Kalar, in the Next Generation episode Reunion. He brought both a childlike innocence and a spark of Klingon fierceness to the role, qualities that made his performance memorable, even though the character was later portrayed by other actors as Alexander grew older. After stepping away from acting, Stewart explored his creative side in music before becoming a successful restaurateur in Portland, Oregon. His life was one of constant reinvention and artistic expression. Tragically, on January 1, 2018, he passed away at just 33 years old. His death was ruled a suicide. Following his passing, Stewart's body was cremated, and his ashes were given to his family. No public memorial or grave exists, allowing his loved ones the space to grieve privately. Today, his legacy lives on in his on-screen performance and the memories of those who knew him personally. Clarice Taylor. Clarice Taylor enjoyed a long and distinguished career across stage, film, and television. To mainstream audiences, she's perhaps best remembered as Anna Huxtable, the warm and wise mother of Cliff Huxtable on The Cosby Show. But for Star Trek fans, her most treasured role came in the Deep Space Nine episode Far Beyond the Stars. She played an elderly woman who offers Captain Sisko a moment of encouragement. It was a brief appearance, but deeply poignant, adding emotional weight to one of the series' most powerful episodes. Taylor passed away from heart failure on May 30, 2011. At the age of 93, she now rests at Westview Cemetery in Atlanta, Georgia, in a family plot marked by a modest bronze plaque. This choice reflects humility and heritage, an eternal reminder that her story is part of a larger family legacy. James Doohan. Few actors are as inseparable from their characters as James Doohan is from Montgomery's Scotty. Scott, the miracle-working engineer of the USS Enterprise. His charm, humor, and warmth made Scotty beloved around the world. And even though he never actually said the line, "Beam me up, Scotty," on screen, it became forever linked to his name. Doohan's heroism extended far beyond fiction. A real-life veteran, he was wounded on D-Day during World War II, bringing authenticity to his role as a man who thrived under pressure. He passed away on July 20, 2005, at the age of 85 from pneumonia and complications of Alzheimer's. In true Star Trek fashion, a portion of his ashes was launched into space, a fitting farewell for a man who helped inspire generations to look toward the stars. His ashes orbited Earth aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket in 2012, while others were scattered in Washington's Puget Sound, a dual tribute, one cosmic, one earthly, for the man who always gave her all she's got, DeForest Kelley. Every great captain needs a doctor, and DeForest Kelley gave us one of television's most unforgettable, Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy. Passionate, cantankerous, and deeply human, McCoy was the heart of the Enterprise, balancing logic and command with compassion. His famous lines, "He's dead, Jim," and "I'm a doctor, not a," are etched into pop culture forever. Before Trek, Kelley was often cast as villains in westerns, but as Bones, he became a symbol of decency and fiery spirit. Kelley died from stomach cancer on June 11, 1999, at age 79. True to his private and modest nature, there is no public grave or headstone. He was cremated, and his ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean. His only monument is the vast sea and the enduring affection of fans who remember him as Starfleet's most beloved country doctor, Michael Pataki. Michael Pataki was one of those instantly recognizable character actors who seemed to appear everywhere on TV and film. In the Star Trek universe, he played not one, but two memorable roles: the loudmouthed Klingon Korax in The Trouble with Tribbles, and later the more dignified Governor Karnas in The Next Generation. His ability to move from bombast to nuance showed the breadth of his talent. Pataki passed away from cancer on April 15, 2010. At the age of 72, he rests at San Fernando Mission Cemetery in Los Angeles. His grave is marked by a flat bronze plaque inscribed with his name and the words, "Beloved husband, father, and grandfather," a quiet contrast to the larger-than-life characters he so often portrayed on screen. Yvonne Craig. Yvonne Craig lit up screens in the 1960s, most famously as Batgirl in the Batman TV series. But Star Trek fans remember her as Marta, the alluring green Orion slave girl in Whom Gods Destroy. With her striking beauty and ballet-trained grace, she made Marta both mesmerizing and dangerous. Outside of acting, Craig was a passionate advocate for workers' rights and public health, using her fame to support causes close to her heart. She passed away on August 17, 2015, from metastatic breast cancer at age 78. Yvonne Craig was cremated, and her ashes returned to her family. With no public memorial or grave, her memory lives on through her unforgettable performances and her legacy as a strong, independent woman both on and off screen. Paul Fix. Paul Fix was already a Hollywood veteran when he joined Star Trek, appearing as Dr. Mark Piper, the Enterprise's first chief medical officer, in the second pilot Where No Man Has Gone Before. His calm, authoritative presence helped ground the crew before Dr. McCoy took over in later episodes. Beyond Trek, Fix's career spanned over 5 decades, including appearances in hundreds of films and TV shows. He even coached a young John Wayne on acting, helping to shape one of cinema's greatest stars. Fix passed away on October 14, 1983, at the age of 82. He now rests at Woodlawn Memorial Cemetery in Santa Monica, California. His gravestone is modest, etched simply with his name, birth, and death dates, a fitting tribute to a man whose work spoke for itself. Gene Roddenberry. When fans speak of Star Trek's legacy, they speak of Gene Roddenberry, the creator, the great bird of the galaxy, a visionary who dreamed of a future where humanity had overcome prejudice, poverty, and war. Roddenberry used Star Trek to tell stories about hope, unity, and exploration. Born in El Paso, Texas in 1921, he began as a military pilot and police officer before turning to writing. His greatest creation, Star Trek, first aired in 1966. Though it lasted only 3 seasons, it grew into one of the most enduring and beloved franchises in history. Roddenberry passed away on October 24, 1991, at the age of 70 after suffering from cardiopulmonary arrest. His ashes were among the first ever launched into space in 1997, fulfilling his lifelong wish to journey beyond Earth. Today, his final resting place is among the stars he inspired millions to dream about. Persis Khambatta. Persis Khambatta, an Indian actress and former Miss India, brought striking elegance to Star Trek, the motion picture as Lieutenant Elia, the bald, empathic navigator from Delta IV. Her futuristic look and serene performance left a lasting impression, even though the character appeared in only one film. Khambatta went on to appear in other science fiction films and television, becoming one of the first Indian actresses to achieve international recognition. She died suddenly of a heart attack on August 18, 1998, at just 49 years old. Persis was cremated in her hometown of Mumbai, India. Though gone too soon, she remains an icon of representation in science fiction, a reminder that Star Trek has always embraced diversity and inclusion. Bibi Besh. Bibi Besh gave one of the most heartfelt performances in the Star Trek films as Dr. Carol Marcus, a brilliant scientist and the mother of Captain Kirk's son, David, in The Wrath of Khan. Her portrayal added depth to Kirk's story, showing a softer, more vulnerable side of the legendary captain. Besh's career stretched far beyond Trek, with numerous roles in film and television, always bringing intelligence and strength to her characters. She passed away on September 7, 1996, from breast cancer at just 56 years old. Bibi Besh was cremated, and her ashes were kept privately by family. Though she has no public grave, her legacy lives on in one of Star Trek's most beloved films, where she helped tell a story of family, love, and sacrifice. Jeffrey Hunter. Before William Shatner became Captain Kirk, Jeffrey Hunter first carried the Star Trek legacy as Captain Christopher Pike in the original pilot, The Cage. His portrayal of Pike, thoughtful, strong, yet deeply human, set the tone for what a Starfleet captain could be. Though he never returned to the role, Pike became an enduring part of Star Trek lore, revisited by later actors and series. Hunter's career was filled with notable roles in films like The Searchers and King of Kings, where he played Jesus Christ. But his his promising future was tragically cut short. In May 1969, at just 42 years old, Hunter died from a cerebral hemorrhage after a fall. He was laid to rest at Glen Haven Memorial Park in Sylmar, California. His grave is marked by a simple plaque, quietly honoring a man who helped launch one of television's greatest franchises. Merritt Butrick. Merritt Butrick brought a mix of charm, vulnerability, and defiance to his role as David Marcus, the son of Captain Kirk and Dr. Carol Marcus, in The Wrath of Khan and The Search for Spock. His performance captured both the brilliance of his character's scientific mind and the tension of being Kirk's son. Butrick was also a rising star outside of Trek, with roles in films like Square Pegs and Fright Night 2. Sadly, his career was cut short when he passed away from AIDS-related complications on March 17, 1989. At just 29 years old, he was cremated, and his ashes were given to family. Without a public grave, fans honor him through his work, a reminder of a talent lost far too soon. Mark Lenard. Few actors in Star Trek left as powerful a mark as Mark Lenard. He first appeared as the Romulan commander in the classic Balance of Terror, then returned to portray Sarek, Spock's father, a role he made iconic across the original series, the animated series, the films, and The Next Generation. With his commanding voice and dignified presence, Lenard embodied Sarek's Vulcan logic while still revealing a father's hidden warmth. He also portrayed a Klingon in Star Trek, the motion picture, making him one of the few actors to play all three major alien races in the franchise. Lenard passed away from multiple myeloma on November 22, 1996. At the age of 72, he was cremated, with his ashes kept privately by family. Though he has no public memorial, his performances remain timeless, cementing him as one of Trek's greatest recurring actors. Ricardo Montalban gave Star Trek one of its most unforgettable villains, Khan Noonien Singh. Introduced in the original series episode Space Seed and later returning in The Wrath of Khan, Montalban's commanding performance made Khan more than just a villain. He was a tragic, operatic figure consumed by revenge. Beyond Trek, Montalban was a celebrated actor with a career spanning 6 decades, from Hollywood musicals to his beloved role as Mr. Rourke on Fantasy Island. He passed away on January 14, 2009, at age 88 from congestive heart failure. Ricardo Montalban rests at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California. His grave is marked by a simple headstone, a humble monument for a man whose charisma and talent made him larger than life. William Campbell made 2 standout appearances in Star Trek. First, as the mischievous Trelane in The Squire of Gothos, a character many fans see as a precursor to Q. Later, he returned as the Klingon Captain Koloth in The Trouble with Tribbles, reprising the role decades later on Deep Space Nine. Campbell's charm and theatrical flair made his characters unforgettable, balancing humor with menace in true Trek fashion. He passed away on April 28, 2011, at the age of 87. William Campbell was cremated, with his ashes given to his family. With no public grave, his memory lives on in the laughter, drama, and magic he brought to the Star Trek universe. Madeleine Roux graced Star Trek, the original series, as Lieutenant Marla McGivers in Space Seed. She played the historian who fell under Khan's spell, torn between her Starfleet duty and her dangerous attraction to the genetically engineered tyrant. Roux brought both vulnerability and strength to the role, making McGivers a complex and unforgettable character. Beyond Trek, Roux enjoyed a long television career. Even after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in the 1970s, she continued acting from a wheelchair, demonstrating remarkable resilience. She passed away on December 16, 2003, at the age of 68 from pneumonia. Madeleine Roux was cremated, and her ashes were given to her family. Though she has no public grave, her determination and talent remain an inspiration. Roger C. Carmel is fondly remembered by fans as the charismatic con man Harry Mudd, appearing in Mudd's Women and I, Mudd on the original series, and later in the animated series. With his booming voice and larger-than-life presence, Carmel gave Mudd a mix of humor, roguish charm, and moral slipperiness that made him a standout among Trek's recurring characters. Carmel passed away suddenly on November December 11, 1986, at just 54 years old from heart failure. He rests at Mount Carmel Cemetery in Glendale, New York. His grave is marked by a traditional headstone that reflects his Jewish heritage. Though his time was brief, his legacy as Harry Mudd lives on through laughter and mischief. Jill Ireland's acting career spanned film and television, and she became a familiar face to audiences in the 1960s and 1970s. In Star Trek, she appeared in the episode This Side of Paradise as Layla Kolomi, the woman who once loved Spock. Ireland's gentle, emotional performance revealed a rare glimpse into Spock's hidden heart, making the episode one of the most poignant of the series. Away from acting, Ireland became known for her openness about her battle with breast cancer, writing books that inspired countless others facing the disease. She died on May 18, 1990, at just 54 years old. Jill Ireland is buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Her headstone bears her name and dates, a quiet marker for a woman whose courage and grace left a lasting impact both on screen and in life.